You know, of all the hundreds of scuba diving agencies out there, there was one thing that SSI had that none of the competitors had, and that was a really awesome smartphone app. I mean, this app did it all. Scuba certs, dive log, training information, a dive site map that used Apple or Google Maps, personal dive progression, Bluetooth connection to the Mares Genius. Yeah, the app wasn't perfect, but if you had recommendations or issues, you could message them directly through a link that was in the app. The SSI app was awesome. I actually plan to make a video about how much I enjoyed the app. I made the thumbnail for it, I just never got around to making the actual video itself. So you can only guess my excitement whenever I found out that the 3.0 version of the app was set to come out last week. Finally, all those recommendations that I've been giving them for years are gonna come to fruition. The new SSI app will truly be the do-it-all app.
2 hours later.
Disappointed!
Hey, Church here with Rest and Rec. Before we get started today, I just wanted to thank everyone for the awesome and hilarious feedback we get on these videos. Like this one on the Kansas video. Babe, you know that twine ball that you hugged in Kansas?
Yeah, the twine.
The ball of twine is absolutely saturated and covered in urine. All the locals pee on it.
I wouldn't say that.
So SSI 3.0 dropped last week and I'm less than impressed. Look, I acknowledge the fact that it just released and naturally it's gonna have some issues, and I'm hoping with the first update a lot of this stuff will get hammered out. Hence why I have this video dated. Alright, so first and foremost, the SSI app to me is my primary dive log. So the fact that the digital dive log isn't working in the app currently is especially bad for me. So I use my Mares Genius to Bluetooth the dive information directly to the app, which seems to be working fine even though it doesn't recognize that all the other dives in the log were also uploaded the same way. The issue I'm having is when I close out of the app and then reopen it later, the dives disappear, completely gone from the log. Despite multiple different uploads both through the Genius and manually, despite the fact that I deleted the app and then re-downloaded it, I'm still having this issue. It's weird because it shows that the dives exist on the main page, but they haven't been verified, but you click into it and they're not present. SSI, this is a huge problem. You've got to get that fixed. Another thing that doesn't seem to stick around after you close the app is your unit setting. I have to go into the settings every time I open the app and switch it back to Imperial. I mean, look at this. Dives measured in meters?
I'm sorry, I thought this was America!
Look, this glitch might be nice for all of you that live in countries that haven't been to the moon, but for me, I can't read this. I measure my tanks in pounds per square inch, not crumpets per pint or whatever it is y'all use in Europe. Another thing I miss about the old app was the map. Sure, Apple Maps left a lot to be desired, but this new map is so unfamiliar and so oversimplified, it's not as user-friendly. Look, the point of the map feature was so you could quickly look at it and get an idea of what's in an area. The old map used the pins to cluster everything around, and they color coordinated it. Red pins were dive shops, black pins were dive sites you haven't logged, and blue pins were dive sites that you have logged. New map now clumps all these things under one giant area bubble relatively in the middle with a number slapped over the top. Yeah, this declutters the map to a large degree, but it makes it that much more difficult to get an idea of what's in an area without zooming all the way in on the map. Another thing that's lost on this map is satellite imagery. It may not have been used by the masses, but it was really useful in helping you identify and verify the legitimacy of these dive sites on this map. Take for instance, you're in Ed Sorensen's shop in Marianna, Florida, and you click into this map to try and see what all dive sites are around you. If you open the app, you're gonna see this dive site, Hermit Ledge. You zoom in on it and you see that it's on Hermit Lane. Is this some type of dive quarry? Well, if you had satellite imaging, you could actually look in here and see that it's just some dude logging dives in his backyard pool. A Florida man in his natural habitat. Now this next feature, there's nothing straight up wrong with it, but it had so much potential and they did absolutely nothing with it, I have to point it out as a negative. The gear section. It's simple to use, fill in the blank names, manufacturer selection from a very inclusive and almost complete list. Own a Koa spear gun? Ah, too bad. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, what's the point of logging your equipment? Well, if you're like me and you own a few different types of exposure systems, fins, lights, whatever, and you like to annotate your exact configuration into your dive log, This makes sense. Rather than manually typing into the notes section of every dive exactly what you were using, you could just go to a drop-down box and select what pieces of equipment you used for which dive. Great idea, right? Imagine my disappointment whenever I found out that the logging section didn't have that as an option. Yep, same old fillable notes section at the bottom of the dive. Which brings us back to that question, what was the point of logging the diving equipment into the diving app? Why is the app asking me when and where I bought this stuff? Is this just Head Sports trying to get info on us to figure out how to sell us more stuff?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, big missed opportunity there. So if they didn't update the notes section of the diving log, what did they update? Well, as it turns out, nothing. I've been messaging them for years saying they either need to drastically expand the list of specialties or offer a fill-in-the-blank option at least. Nope, exact same list. Still missing a whole bunch of specialties like altitude and full face mask. But hey, at least they still have the stupid ones like snorkeling, dive computer, and perfect buoyancy. What, are some dives logged as imperfect buoyancy? Glad to see that the clunky dialogue stuck around from the last generation. What was the weather like on your dive? Was it rainy, cloudy, cloudless, or snow? Not snowing, just snow. Yes, the surface condition was snow. Or was it cloudless? Because that's how human beings describe a clear and sunny day, is cloudless. Now how about that body of water section that's on here? Still have the cavern and cenote section combined, since we all know that caves and cenotes are basically one and the same. Look, I know what I'm saying right now may seem a little bit nitpicky, and I know developers can't think of everything. But that said, the solution is so simple, and I've been telling them for years. Just add in a fill-in-the-blank section. Is it that hard? One last big letdown on here is the insurance section. I was hoping that finally SSI would have a place in the app for me to put my DAN information. But no, it's just an ad for their insurance they're trying to sell. Now, normally I would say that if enough of us gave them negative feedback, maybe they would fix some of this stuff, but they completely took away the report issues / feedback option on this new app. Well, I guess if they weren't reading any of that feedback anyway, there's really no point of even putting it on there, is there? The sad thing is there's so much potential here, and there's a lot of things on this app that I like. I love the new layout of this app. I really like the statistics page that's on here, even though they really should have made it where you can click on these stats and see exactly which dives they're getting this information from. I also like the look of the app. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Like I said in the beginning, it's not awful, it just has a lot of things that need fixing. I do have to thank SSI for one thing with this app though. I have learned to not be overly reliant on this app as my primary dive log. Apps crash, data corrupts, and logbooks go missing. Have a backup. I see you made it to the end of this video and didn't subscribe.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Be sure to do that, and if you have ideas about the SSI app or thoughts and opinions on this, be sure to leave it in the comments section below. Also, if any of you know anybody who works high up in SSI and can make these changes, be sure to share this video with them. Until next time, this has been Church with Rest and Rec. Take it easy.